ó dé ní ẹni pé pretty kò ní ṣó gbé wa débẹ̀ àbí kò gbé wa débẹ̀ Emmanuel wà á tún gbé mi débẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ listen báyé bá ń bínú kẹ́mi tá máa tímọ́tímọ́ ìmọ́lẹ̀ nílùú London àwọn ọmọ ìmọ́lẹ̀ nílùú London bí wọ́n bá ní ìtẹ̀gógó ẹ̀ máa tàn kiri.
Thank God it's Friday. Eid al-Fitr to all our Muslim watchers and viewers and listeners. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Thank God it's Friday. I did say that we're going to dance today, and I like to keep my word. So we're dancing into the celebrations. It's time to eat the ram, time to eat everything edible, and time to enjoy ourselves. It's been 29 days of fasting. A lot of things have happened, and may God accept all our prayers, and may He grant us peace on our side and comfort, and bring every of our prayers to fruition. Let's get straight to business. Spring Trends is what you're watching on Western Spring Television on Morning Spring here on StarTimes Channel 190 on the DTT platform. You can follow us on all our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, check us out at YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Now, let's go straight to what we have for you today. We'll begin with the president. The Independent National Electoral Commission actually is where we start from. That's where we start our conversation this morning. Now, what is it with the Independent National Electoral Commission? They released a statement yesterday. Let's take the first part of that statement. According to INEC says that the attention of the commission has been drawn to a press statement by a candidate in the recently concluded Adamawa governorship election, where the officials of the state of the commission were alleged to have undermined the electoral process after a discreet nocturnal visit to the government house. Now, all of that press statement was basically denying allegations. Let's look at the second part of that conversation. The public is advised to discountenance the insinuations as nothing more than a claptrap. So what exactly was INEC talking about? Now, in the aftermath of the Adamawa governorship election, the candidate of the APC, Aishatu Dahiru, also known as Binani, had been alleged to have paid 2 billion naira to some persons to subvert the process and to declare her winner of the election. But she wasn't having it. She came out to give her own statement, tell her own side of the story. So let's take her letter that INEC was responding to. Take that letter now, Senator Aisha Dahiru Binani's letter, and I'll read it out from here. She says, my attention has been drawn to a very bizarre, unfounded, wild allegations purportedly made by an officer of the Department of State Services to the effect that I, Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed Binani, give out the sum of 2 billion naira to procure a favorable declaration as governor-elect to some INEC staff. I never did. I would never do such. This said statement was allegedly made when the officer was being tortured at gunpoint by agents of the Adamawa State Governor and the government house police team alongside their political thugs. Let's move on to the next paragraph. She said, what happened in Adamawa was an unsuccessful attempt to subvert the will of the people. What will of the people, Madam Aisha Binani? But we'll get back to that. The REC was illegally told to stand down by 2 INEC national commissioners from Abuja who were supposed to be in Adamawa in a supervisory capacity. Even more curious is the nocturnal visit of the same INEC officers to Adamawa State Government House and bizarre declaration same day after the visit that they have taken over the collation through the back door, with collation and returning officers selected by the governor of Adamawa. The roles of these INEC officers, blah, 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 blah. Now, let's get back to the studio now. You see, the problem I have with Senator Aisha Binani is that she seems to have, forgotten that the same person who declared the election as concluded on Wednesday was the same person who declared the election as inconclusive on the 18th of March. So how could she allege that the returning officer was selected by the governor of Adamawa State? Does it even make sense? It doesn't stand to reason. Also, how can you say that the REC was told to stand down? The REC does not have a place in the scheme of things. He's just the landlord. He's the one hosting all of the INEC commissioners who will come to Adamawa to conduct the election. So there was no way that the REC could have been in position to declare elections results in the first place, and there was no way a returning officer would have been changed. The same person who declared it inconclusive and on the 18th of March declared it conclusive few days ago. So this letter was poorly written, was badly written. I could see some errors there, some grammatical somersault, some I am not do or die politician. That's bad English. I award this particular press statement from Senator Aishatu Dahiru Binani 2/10, and she needs to see me. I've written "see me" on it. So return the script to her and tell her to see me in the course of the weekend. But let's go to the social media now and see how Nigerians have reacted to that particular issue of INEC responding to Senator Aisha Binani's letter. We'll begin with Nkechi first. She says, INEC, whatever you've been accused of, you did. Do you not see what a mess you are? Odeolua second says, oh boy, you've finished the work they sent you. Now it's time to keep quiet. We don't want to hear from you again. Abdullahi Saleh says, INEC Nigeria, haven't you heard the Channels TV interview anchored by Seun Okinbaloye, where Governor Umaru of Interior alleged that all the returning officers are APC NG members, so you choose what to respond to? Definitely, you are not fair on this. Gire says, there's still a lot to answer, Shah. What has happened in Adamawa has to be peeled layer by layer and dissected. A lot of damage has been done, and the truth will just have to come out. Jacob Agiton says, it's so painful to me that your words can't be trusted until you do the right things and we see them done. Same way you brought out a release that you were not going to abandon transmission of results electronically from polling units when it was alleged. Ndafte Ilya Aldi says, AIT Online, NTA News Now, INEC Nigeria. If you people cannot even get the date of election that took place just 5 days ago, how much more can you people get the results right? Today is 20th April 2023. 25th April 2023 will be coming Tuesday. Mr. Press Release. Yes, I'll still come back to INEC, but let's take the comments now. Johnson Swiss official says, INEC, when they spoil everything, still they find who to blame. We don't have trust in you again, especially Professor Yakubu. And Shaidu Tijani says, INEC is taking our law-abiding push for a true democracy for granted. It's enough. Stop riding on our peaceful and law-abiding path to demand for justice, good governance, equity, and fairness. Jamila Yusuf comes next. Jamila says, the person that posted this and the one that approved the posting definitely didn't take time out to read this letter word for word. Today is 20th. So how come election held on 25th of April when we never even reached 21, much less 25? Nejo says, look at these people. The partisanship is in almost all the elections. Enugu, Rivers, Adamawa, Imo, Lagos, Benue, and others. So those are the comments. I'd like to ask INEC, I'd like to ask the National Commissioner in charge of voter education and information, Festus Okoye, did anybody in INEC sit down to read through that letter? Because I'm wondering why you say you conducted elections on the 25th of April when you actually released the statement on the 20th of April and the election itself was conducted on the 15th of April. What's going on here? No, I want you to brief me. Just assume that maybe I'm a primary school student and tell me the correlation. You conducted elections on the 15th, released the statement on the 20th, and put the date of that election on the 25th. It doesn't make sense. Some things don't just add up, and some things are not adding up in this situation. So INEC, you need to tell us what is subtracting that is not adding up. Still talking about INEC, but with the presidency now, we move over to Abuja, where yesterday news broke out in the evening that President Muhammadu Buhari had approved the suspension of the resident electoral commissioner in Adamawa State. What's his name now? Hudu Yunusa Ari. Let's read the statement for you now. President Buhari has approved the immediate suspension of the resident electoral commissioner of Adamawa State, Mr. Hudu Yunusa Ari, pending the completion of investigation by the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, into the conduct actions of the REC during the recently concluded controversial supplementary election in Adamawa State. The president has also directed the immediate investigation and prosecution, if found liable, of Yunusa Ari by the IG. The Director of Information Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation revealed this in a statement last night. Bassi said the president also directed investigation by the IGP, Director General of the Department of State Services, and the Commandants General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps of the role of their officers in aiding and abetting the conduct or actions of Yunusa Ari, and if found culpable, appropriate disciplinary actions should be meted out to them. Well, that's what the presidency says. That's what the presidency has said. That's what the president has said. Remember that the process of removing that wreck would have to mean that the president will write to the Senate, and 2/3 of the Senate would have to agree on the removal of the resident electoral commissioner. So let's take the comments for you. But we'll start with Facebook this morning. That's where we'll begin taking our comment. Facebook is where we'll start from. Ernest Lekwe says, why not approve the suspension of INEC chairman? Everything that the REC did was done by the chairman. Those are allegations that you can never prove, but we've seen what happened in Adamawa State. IKC Ayene says, we are waiting for his prosecution in line with the laws. Suspension is meaningless if he actually collected 2 billion naira. And I believe he did otherwise. I don't see how it can be that reckless. You see the way I've moved back now. That's the way people are moving back from INEC. That's the way people are rejecting what INEC has done. Now let's look at Olawale Oyibode. It says suspension or being charged to court. You don't have to suspend him while court is there to give him necessary jail term. That is to tell you their hands are not clean. And then we move over to Fidelis Derichi Ihediwa, who says it remains the so-called APC governorship candidate that should be arrested. Binani's suit to prevent INEC from reversing an illegal declaration by an official that she won the governorship election, and she knows it was illegal. Now, Morgan Ohiri says suspension is not enough. He should be prosecuted alongside the commissioner of police that aided her in that coup. Sami Tabunde says, what is the meaning of approving suspension? Suspension because he played the Adamawa script poorly. If the bagger has done anything wrong, he should be sacked and sent to prison. But if Governor Fintiri lost his cool and went berserk, throwing the state into violence, many could have died and many could have been killed by the law enforcement agency. Suspending the Adamawa INEC commissioner begs the crime. Now we move over to Twitter now, where we take the remaining comments for you. Ahinop says, we've gone so low that the president suspending a nuisance and it is breaking news. Anyways, he should sack Yakubu. Henry Chukwudi says, I don't get it. The first person to be suspended should be INEC chairman Yakubu Mahmood. The Adamawa REC was simply following his shameless footsteps. All these are comments on social media. Ebere Chukwu Ebere says, please, what's the difference between Adamawa REC and Professor Yakubu? What is the difference? We'll get to know what the difference is. And our next comment comes from Osemzi. Says, next, investigation for accomplices and prosecution. Wishful thinking, Shah. And the last comment on that story is from CEO Genix Group. Says, suspension care. Why has he not been arrested? Where is Lai that has been singing treason? Oh, I forgot the REC is an APC member. We never know. We don't know if the REC is an APC member. But, well, there are allegations flying around everywhere. So let's move over, lastly, to Twitter. Twitter, something has happened. If you've been on Twitter recently, you discover that all the people who have legacy checks. Now, legacy blue ticks means that you had a blue tick, a verified check on your Twitter account to show that you're either a celebrity or a person of note in your chosen field. And that means that people were able to distinguish fake accounts from impersonators. People were able to distinguish real people from bots or from any other person who decides to create a parody account. But unfortunately, Twitter has now taken up that legacy blue check. It means that if you were verified because you're a notable person in your field, you are no longer verified until you begin to pay $8 per month. Now let's see how Nigerians, particularly Nigerians, reacted to that story. We'll begin with Eshe Moha. Eshe Moha says, so Twitter has removed blue ticks from verified account. I saw Peter Obi's tweets just now and had to double check the account. I wonder the wisdom behind this move by Twitter. Anyone can very easily impersonate whoever. John Ward says, some celeb heads are about to explode. How will we know how important they are if Twitter removes their blue tick? David Honde is giving a disclaimer, says, now that Kim Jong tweet has actioned his latest brilliant idea and removed legacy check marks from the people who need them the most. Kindly look at the handle very carefully before responding to David Hundiyi on Twitter. I'm not liable for what an impostor says. Sheon says, Elon Musk, after removing all celebrities' blue tick and expecting them to buy it, this is business. And that exactly is what it is for Elon Musk. Oloya Akinlabi says, even though I'm affected, I'm happy legacy verification ticks have been removed. The I get sense past you because of blue tick became nauseating. I will sign up for Twitter Blue. It has nice features. PDOM Nigeria 99% of press says, don't be surprised if in the next Nigerian budget you see them add up the cost of Twitter verification blue tick to our national budget. Nigerians may end up paying $10,000 each for National Assembly members and the executive yearly for Twitter. Our politicians are heartless. Or you can't put it past Nigeria. Well, Lido Kane says, I thought Elon Musk was playing. He really took off the blue tick from your favorite celebrities. You can see some of them there. Donald Trump no longer has this check. Kylian Mbappe no longer has this check. Well, Ronaldo still has this, but it was later removed. And Lido Kane too having his check removed. Richard Osman says, farewell blue tick old friend. Don't forget, always set your feed to following rather than for you. Then you keep seeing the people you actually follow and not people who've paid for attention. Yeah, we're wrapping up. Nick Stiliano says, anyone with a blue tick on Twitter from now is paying upwards of £114 a year to use this free website and app. RIP Dr. Chinelo says, Peter Obi account should be protected at all costs. Two-factor authentication, blue tick gone. They will hack him soon. Someone should tell him to use strong password and authentication app ASAP. But that's where we leave the conversation this morning. That's where we end the show. We'll be dancing out to Segun Nabi's Baye Bambino. So it's a weekend. Whenever anybody's angry at you, don't mind them. Don't mind them. Just enjoy your life. Life is too short. Problem not to finish. Try to enjoy. My name is Emmanuel Ojadegele. I'll see you on Monday. In the meantime, enjoy yourself. Stay on the right side of the law. And remember to be jiggy. So let's go to Segun Nabi.
Tímọ́tímọ́ ìmọ́lẹ̀ nílùú London. Àwọn ọmọ ìmọ́lẹ̀ nílùú London bí wọ́n bá ní ìtẹ̀gógó ẹ̀ máa tàn kiri. Àwọn tó ń bẹ́ kówó wọ́n máa pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ. Ìṣerere kó má dópin láyé ẹ̀. Ayé bá bínú kí wọ́n sá máa tẹ̀síwájú. Bí wọ́n bá ní ìtẹ̀gógó bí wọ́n tó ń bí. Ẹlẹ́kẹta, inú bẹ́ ń wúrẹ́, ó fẹsẹ̀ alẹ̀. Ẹlẹ́kẹta, nítorí àkókò, Emmanuel Mitigo, ó yá gbé mi débẹ̀, kí n dúró tán. Gbé mi débẹ̀, kí n dúró tán. Olóríire ni ọmọ Fákolú ó gẹ́gẹ́. Ẹ wá wò ṣe Elédùmarè nínú ayé rẹ̀. Ó pọ̀. Ẹ wá wò ṣe ọmọ Fákolú dúró gbé mi débẹ̀. Àlùjọ mi náà dà. Túraká Santiago Marajẹ ẹ̀làwọ̀ ẹ̀làwọ̀. Ẹ ti rí pé ó pọ̀ lórí ẹ̀gàn. Ó yá jó dáadáa. ọmọ gbádùn náà ẹja ṣe kìíní yẹn we no dey do competition ẹja ṣe kìíní yẹn Gbajúmọ̀ sani ìwọ máa bẹ ọlọ́lá sani ìwọ máa bẹ.